So he'd been in a skiing accident. He took a jump, landed on his head, and shattered his C5 vertebrae, and was declared quadriplegic on site with no ability to move at all. This was in January that this happened. In February is when I met his grandmother, and we went to the neuro rehab unit at the hospital because she felt, his grandmother felt, that AromaTouch would help Wesley because it stimulates, as you've learned this morning, it really helps the body on a neurological level. It's ideal for neural stimulation, and that's exactly what Wesley needed. And so it was very emotional to visit him. It was an amazing facility that they had set up. Let me see if these pictures are. Might be a few others in here we can show. So a pretty intense setup. Now, this was a month before I met him. So we went to his room, and there was a lot of get well cards and posters all over his community, his school, his neighborhood, his church, everyone wishing him a fast and speedy recovery. Now, it was difficult to give Wes the AromaTouch initially because he couldn't lay on his belly. He could only they could lay him on his side, and so we did it sideways. And it's harder because you have gravity, and the oils run, and so you have to move a little bit quicker. But the emotional experience, the miracle for us, was in that as we got to the feet, when you saw a little working on the feet, as we got to the feet, he started to complain that he didn't like how it felt. Okay, did you catch that? 16-year-old young man started to complain that he didn't like how peppermint felt on his feet. He could feel the menthol, the cold menthol of the peppermint. We were all very emotional. He was complaining. So we completed his AromaTouch, and really our purpose that day was to teach his parents how to do the AromaTouch. And the next day his mother called and reported that Wesley was complaining again, this time his hip, because they took bone from his hip to repair his neck. And they had used no anesthesia because obviously he couldn't feel anything. So they rebuilt his neck with bone from his hip. And on the second day, he was complaining about his hip hurting, which again, he didn't like, and everyone else was very excited about because that was never supposed to happen. So he began to have AromaTouch on a everyday basis, and then eventually every 2 days. And let me see if this will play. This was after 6 weeks. This is after 6 weeks of a lot of physical therapy and daily AromaTouch. That's on his own motion, his own power. This was 4 weeks later. This is from a young man who was told he would never have any mobility again the rest of his life. Now, we lost track of Wes for a few months. Let me pause this. He had been in Arizona, we lost track of him, and then he suddenly reappeared only 5 miles from our corporate headquarters in Orem, Utah. He was staying at his aunt's house, having therapy in a local clinic, and I immediately went to Dr. Hill and shared with Dr. Hill where Wesley was at. Remember this, Doc? It was just right, literally 5 minutes away. And so we went to visit Wes, and this was the only video I got of Dr. Hill actually giving Wes an AromaTouch himself. And I wish I had recorded the whole thing, but unfortunately I didn't. And even at this point, Wes had continued to improve and progress, and is now to the point where he can almost move his fingers. And this was the latest, one of the latest video clips that they've sent me. Now, the latest update, which I received just a few weeks ago, is that Wes has regained feeling in his feet. He cannot move his feet yet, but he's regained feeling. So he's got an amazing journey ahead of him, but he will recover. And those of you that were at convention, you saw him on stage in his wheelchair, right? We were trying to convince him he does wheelies. He pops wheelies in his wheelchair. And we were trying to convince him to do that, but he didn't want to. He was too embarrassed. But his recovery is coming along amazingly well, and they give a great deal of credit to the AromaTouch. Is it only the AromaTouch? No. It's a combination of everything they're doing. But the doctors told them, whatever you're doing with those oils, just keep doing it, because it's making an amazing difference. So this is one of the reasons we're so excited about what this amazing technique can do for each of us on a day-to-day basis, whether it's a traumatic injury like with Wes, or just having stress reduction and just overall wellness. It's an amazing process. So enjoy the rest of this afternoon. Thank you, Dr. O.
For me, you would think the most exciting part of that for me would be that, wow, look at what the AromaTouch did. I thought Justin did a wonderful job of helping you understand it's not just the AromaTouch. That's not the most exciting part of this to me. The most exciting part of this to me is that it wasn't me. It was Justin. Justin just had the confidence and the belief that he could do this, and they went and they've seen these fabulous results. So, are you excited about the AromaTouch? Are you